AK buying selection process could be foggy these days. Let me guide you through it. Caliber selection is my number one point on the decision-making process. I love 545 by 39 AKs. I said that many times, but unless you already have tons of ammo in your storage, I would not advise you today to go into the 545 by 39 Ward AKs, simply because the prices of ammo are absolutely outrageous. I just checked the AmmoSeek, and as of right now, we are hovering around 72 cents per shot. That's absolutely a rape. Every time when you're going to pull the trigger on that AK, you're going to feel the pain in your rear end. So, based on that, I do not recommend the 545 by 39, and it's a tragedy. Now, that being said, what other two choices we have? 556 by 45 AKs are becoming more and more popular. Tons of choices. That's definitely should be on your radar. And the 556 45 ammo advantage is this is extremely popular in the United States ammo, and there is never going to be a moment, never say never, but it shouldn't be a moment when that ammo will be stopped being produced. Also, as of today, the military law enforcement agencies are still running on a 556 by 45, so no matter what, you should be able to resupply yourself with that kind of ammo. So the 556 by 45 should be definitely on your radar. And then, of course, we always look into the 7.62 by 39. Now, this is not domestic caliber for the US, right? But I think at this point, the 7.62 by 39, it is well established enough. So even with the limited incoming rounds in that caliber from outside United States to United States, there is still enough market for the major ammo makers to pick up that round and keep manufacturing it. So definitely 7.62 by 39 also should be on your radar. And following the selection process, you could see in your region which ammo is easier to get. Is 7.62 by 39 easily to find in your area? Because some of you are even restricted in buying the ammo online, right? And look through what happened in Great Britain, guys. Not many of you know, but they have the ammo quotas, how much ammo they can buy there. And if you think this will never happen in the United States, look again at some of the states. That's another great question. I would strongly suggest starting with the imports. Why? Because simply imports could be erased overnight with the stroke of the pen from the president. And we have seen this happen through the Democrats, Republicans, it doesn't matter. All of them did it, and even in the recent history. So I would strongly advise you to grab a import rifle first. Domestic producers, that's much tougher for the politicians to ban that production for them. And even with the assault weapons bans, so-called assault weapons bans, this has to go through the legislature and the process to get it done for the gun grabbers, when the imports could be shut down immediately. Also, the imports tend to hold the value better. So you may be pressed into the situation that at some point you will have to sell the rifle, which I strongly do not recommend doing it, but it may be that situation, and usually you will get the money, better money out of the imported rifles than domestic ones. So get the imports first, then the domestic ones, okay? If that makes sense. Very good question. I will personally tell you that I do prefer stamped receiver AKs. That being said, I do recognize that usually the milled receivers again hold the value better and are a little bit more desirable by the collectors and even some hardcore users. Now, the one thing to remember, if you want to do anything to that AK, I mean like accessorize it, pimp it out, it is usually easier to find the accessories for a common stamped receiver AKs, and it gets a little bit harder on those milled receivers, especially if you will start going into the Chinese AKs, the older ones. It is a little bit harder to find specifically for those receivers some of the accessories. It's not impossible, but it's a little bit harder. So that should be the part of your selection process as well. But as for me, I do prefer stamped receiver AKs. That being said, when I'm at the range and having just fun, I love milled receivers for sure. This will come as a shocker to you, but I honestly think so that it is a good idea to start with the simple AK, almost without anything on it. See how you feel like it with that weapon, how it handles for you, and then based on that basic experience, start selecting accessories and what would you like to change. But get that basic feeling first. Try to see how this rifle handles for you, how you can move with it, how it operates, and then based on this start customizing so you can end up with something like this. But I would not recommend starting right away with some set of accessories selected by the manufacturer and put it on the rifle. You should be in charge of accessorizing your rifle. So I would start with the very basic one. I will start with the simple one. Don't pay higher prices for the accessories, which most likely you're not going to like it anyway. Start with the simple one, save some money, go from there. This is extremely important decision. Again, I would strongly recommend getting a fixed stock, because with the fixed stock you can start adding you got different options which are easy to install, like stock adapters. This is not the stock adapter, but you can do those collapsible stocks on the fixed stock AKs much easier than, let's say, if you would like to customize it that way, the folding stocks, right? They are folding stock adapters, there's no question about that, but they are not as common and you don't have that many choices as for the fixed stocks. Folding stocks for me bring absolutely nothing. Unless you are dealing with the tight spaces for the storage of the rifles and you want to put them in the storage folded, I could see that, or in the vehicle, I could see that. Yes, that's a very good argument. But I rather have a fixed stock, because every time you see, even if you have an optic, you're going to run into the problems with the folding or under folding stocks. Now, is it manageable? Can you use it? Of course, yes. But when you starting, I would strongly recommend those fixed stocks solutions, because then you got more options and you can go from there and fine tune it, or keep the, just simple wooden fixed stock. It works too. But the moment you start going to the folding stocks or underfolders especially, guys, I cannot tell you how many people is asking me for adapters for underfolders, because the underfolder looks awesome. It is perfect, makes perfect sense, right? Until you start using it. And if you run a lot with underfolder, if you shoot a lot with underfolder, trust me, you're going to feel it. And there is a lot of people having regrets from buying the underfolding stock AKs. So I would not recommend this as a first AK. Get the fixed stock, go from there. Folding stocks, again, there is tons of good use for the folding stocks, I understand, but if you're thinking about customizing it and doing something with it, it will be a little bit more difficult. It's not impossible. There are stock folding adapters for the collapsible stocks and things like this, but it is a little bit more difficult. All right, that's it. I hope you did enjoy the whole video and the selection process. If you have any questions, ask me underneath of the video. Think what you're doing, think what you want to accomplish with that rifle, and what is that rifle going to do for you, what is the job for the rifle. Based on that, go through the process and select what fits your needs. And always remember that in the worst case scenario, if you have to sell it, are you going to get at least some portion of your money back? That should be part of your process. All right, guys, thank you for watching.